Look at that. Okay. Okay, folks, even though we had a small technical snafu, we are officially starting the sync session for Intro to 401. And I am your instructor for the quarter. My name is Don Wedding. You may please feel free to call me Don if you wish, but if you like to be formal, you can call me Professor Wedding, but I like Don. That's, but you know, call me whatever you feel comfortable with, and I'm married, so I've been called a lot worse than Don. So let me just introduce you to the class, and before we get started, any last questions anybody wants me to touch upon as we go through how to be successful in 401? And Nicholas, you are unmuted, so I'm going to draft you. Can you keep an eye on the chat window? Because as I show you the class shell, I can't see the chat window, so sometimes people type in things and I can't see, and you could just sort of interrupt me with questions that people type in. Can you do that for me?
Sure, I'll monitor the chat.
Thank you so very much. Okay, now I'm going to share my screen. And let's take a look at the class shell. Okay. And there's our class shell. Okay, now I'll tell you what, folks, let me give you a quick overview of the class. We'll go through the class shell and hopefully I'll tell you everything you need to know about 401. Now, the first thing you need to know about 401 is that this is a class, it's an introductory class, and there's a lot of sections of it. And the way they put this class together is it's sort of like the Northwestern equivalent of McDonald's. Everybody, you know, you go into one McDonald's and you get a Big Mac, you go across the country and get a Big Mac, it's going to be real similar, okay? Same thing here. It's going to be a very turnkey kind of operation. So, you know, I'm not going to be holding lots of lectures and stuff. It's a very self-contained class. You kind of have to keep up with the reading. We've got a TA who's going to do some lectures on some of the assignments. I'll be here to answer questions and things of that nature. But you know, this is going to be really more of a class where the onus is upon you to keep up with the reading. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? I'm kind of rambling, but does you sort of following along here? Nicholas, you sort of got an idea on this?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So let's walk through the class real quick. Now, that doesn't mean, you know, that I'm just going to do this sync session and walk away. Students contact me all the time with questions and they don't understand stuff. They're having issues with their R programming, whatever. That's what I'm here for. You're supposed to contact me. We also have a TA named Matt Marzillo. He's going to be the TA for this class. We've got another TA, and his name is TA, you know, the teaching assistant, Todd Peterson, and he does sort of a global sync session throughout the quarter, and he sort of goes over the homework, and those really are useful. So do those too. So you've got a lot of resources, but it's sort of a, you know, a turnkey operation here. Let's take a real quick look at the syllabus, and that's right here. And in this class, we're going to be using R for the class. This is me right here. As I said before, Don Wedding at northwestern.edu. If you need some, I don't have any predefined office hours. It's all just call me as you need me, okay? And let's see here. What's the, I thought I have my contact information. Okay, here it is. Just, you know, you can email. Do I have my phone number on the syllabus here? I thought I did. If I don't, I'll put it on there. You can, of course, call me as well. You know, I answer emails. You could post questions on the discussion board, or you can telephone me. And you know what? I'm usually available 24/7. my thought is if it's important enough for you to call me, it's important enough for me to answer. I will do my best to answer. If, please try to avoid calling me at Sunday at 3 in the morning. No one ever has. And let's try to keep the streak alive. But like I said, if it's Sunday at 3 in the morning and you just really need something, call me up. And if I sleep like a rock, but if I wake up, I'll answer it and we're good. Okay. So let me see. I think I have I'll put my phone number on here if I can't find it on this site, but I thought I did put it on here. Let's see. So our lead TA is Todd Peterson, and our class TA is a guy named Matt Marzillo. He's really good with R programming, so you could go to him with R issues. You can go to me as well. Matt, you also might want to reach out to him as well, because he currently works for Microsoft in their Microsoft Azure, so he could probably give you, how to use that tool. If you walk out of this class, with learning as many tools as possible, that's really to your advantage. So, take advantage of having a guy like Matt Marzillo in the class. He could show you a lot of stuff that you probably couldn't learn, in a couple of years, and he could probably show you in a couple of hours. So it's worth having. Let's see the class description. Let's see here. Let's see. Well, that can't be my whole syllabus. I thought it's longer than that, 16 pages. Oh, here we go. I clicked on the wrong button. Okay, here we go. So we have the textbook here is Business Statistics by Kenneth Black. Okay, now, first of all, before we do that, they also have required is R in action and a few other things. Okay, realistically, let's not even talk about Kenneth Black yet. Let's just talk about this R in action. I don't make the class up, so they put down what's the required text. Now, I'm going to tell you reality. I would not buy a textbook on R. You're probably better off, because R, being an open source free language, changes all the time. So you're going to buy this book, and the moment you buy it, it's already becoming obsolete. You're probably better off just doing Google searches on how to do stuff, or looking on YouTube and stuff. That's the dirty little secret for R and Python, is there's great resources out there for free. If you're a person who likes to read books, that's fine. This is a perfectly fine book. But I'm just saying, if you don't buy the book, don't worry about it. Now let's talk about the statistics book here. Again, there is nothing in this class that's going to require you to have this book. In other words, I'm not going to ask you questions like, go to page 55 and do problem number 3. I'm not going to do anything there. Now, there's material here that might be worth your while. And if you're a person who likes to read textbooks, this is a really good textbook. But if you're a person that buys a textbook and then you never open it, save yourself $200 and don't buy it, okay? I've had students not buy the textbook and they got away with it. So I'm just saying, I'll show you how other students get through the course in a few minutes. But I'm just saying, this is the textbook. It says it's required. My thought is it's optional. If you're a person who reads textbooks and enjoys them and learns extensively from them, get it. It's a great book. If you're a person who never reads the textbook, don't get it. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay, perfect. What else do we have? We're going to be using RStudio for this class. So we're going to use the R programming language, and there's lots of environments. We're going to be using RStudio for this, and this is not necessarily my favorite R environment, but it makes grading the assignment very convenient. That's why we're going down this path. Most people are now veering away from RStudio, and they're getting more into Jupyter Notebooks. So you've probably all heard about Jupyter Notebooks. that's still fine. And you're going to see in this program lots of Jupyter notebooks. So don't worry, you're not getting cheated out of a learning experience. There's plenty of Jupyter notebooks for you. It's kind of neat that you're going to learn this because it's still a pretty good tool. Okay. So you're going to have some exposure to this, and that's good. But that's what we're going to use as R programming language, and we're going to write it in the RStudio environment. What else do we have here? This is your grading here. Discussion board is 100 points. We have 4 tests. They're really quizzes. We've got 2 R programming assignments, and we have 2 data assignments, and we have a final exam. It's proctored, and the reason why it's proctored is because for accreditation purposes, we have to have a certain number of our final exams to be proctored. So we're not doing this to be jerks. We proctor it so that we can get accreditation and your degree looks better. So that's why we do it. And we'll talk more about that a little bit later, but this is it. Now this is why I'm popular, is I give bonus points. So I'm going to show you there's some bonus projects in this class, and you can really learn a lot and earn some free bonus points. And there are lots of bonus points. You just have to pick them up, okay? Let's see, what else do we have? Sync sessions. TA Todd is going to be doing some sync sessions. Also, you can reach out to Matt Marzillo for our help. You can reach out to me as well. And statistics help, you can reach out to me. And, that's it. Let's see, what other things here? The way the classes works is this. This is your grade. So if you have 464 points at the end of the quarter, this is the grade you're going to get. Okay. Now, I sometimes have students who, because they do the extra credit point, they get more than 500 points. That's great. I mean, the more you learn from this class, the easier your degree is going to be. So you're going to want to, push yourself in this. Don't just coast through the class. This is a class that's very easy to go on autopilot and get a good grade without doing any work. And that sounds great on paper. And then all of a sudden, a couple of quarters from now, you're like, gosh, I don't know what's going on. This is a great chance to push yourself, try some new tools, try, anything you do that's outside of the ordinary. Send it to me and say, Don, I just recreated this assignment in Python, or I did a little bit of it in Python, or I downloaded, I tried some of this stuff in, Microsoft Azure or Amazon Web Services or something. If you try something like that, send me an email, attach it, tell me what you did and why you did it and how many, and I'll probably give you some bonus points for this. I try to, anything that you do to push yourself in this class, I like it. Okay. Let's see. If you're going to be late on something, please contact me ahead of time. I'm usually pretty flexible. About the only thing I cannot be flexible with is the last day of the class because the grades are due. So everything else I can work with you. If you are consistently not handing in the homework on time, I become less and less flexible with you, but I can be pretty easygoing once or twice. So please, try not to abuse this, but I try to be, life happens and I try to work with you. Okay. Let's see what other stuff. Let's see. So, okay, that's kind of it. We've got the rest of the syllabus here. It's boilerplate stuff, so you can take a look at that. Let's go back over to our class shell. So before we go anywhere, does anybody have any questions, comments, thoughts, anything like that? Let me stop here. Nicholas, it's Nicholas, right?
Yep, you can call me Nick.
Nick, okay, Nick, tell me, has anybody had any questions so far or posted anything?
Nope, the chat's quiet.
The chat is quiet. I don't like that. That means that I'm losing everybody. Somebody asked me a question or I'm going to draft people.
I have a question. This is
Okay.
Rosa. So
Okay.
I saw an email or an announcement on the RStudio study sessions. which I think are great, especially for a person like me that has zero experience with it.
Mhm.
My only concern is it said hopefully things will be recorded. Now the problem is that it's Sunday's usually a religious day and noon is when we attend church. So
Mhm.
my problem is attending the 1 o'clock session is going to be sometimes difficult for me. So is there a possibility that those don't get recorded?
The reason why he says hopefully is sometimes technical glitches occur.
Okay.
Let me see something real quick. Let me come down here. Videos. Look at this. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Over the years, Todd has recorded stuff. I don't know
Okay.
if these, I'm not sure if these still are valid because Blue Jeans went away. This is before your time, but let's just click on one of these. I want to see if it still works. It might yell at us because we discontinued Blue Jeans. Uh-oh. You know
Yeah.
what? They may not be good. I will, all I can do is, the worst that's going to happen is you're going to have to, a lot of as you start doing these things, you're going to say, oh, this is pretty turnkey.
Okay.
Todd usually, he's never missed recording one, but as you see, things don't get recorded sometimes.
Okay.
But, and I understand, and I try, and you know, I want to be respectful of your religious observances. That's very important. It's more, God is more important than 401. Okay, but you know, but that's
Well, I
when
appreciate
Todd.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So let's see. Let me think here. So, boy, I thought for a minute I really had something for you there. I thought I had them, but they don't. They no longer are valid. I'm going to click that so that it disappears, but I'll fill those in as time goes. Let's see. What else do we have? Let's see. Introductory video. This is just the videos from previous quarters. I store them for a while. So this is the last time I did introductory video. I try to record this stuff. So if you ever want to see it, I'll post this out there. About your instructor and TA. Oh, here we go, guys. This is my home number and this is my cell phone. Okay, if you need to call me, here's what you want to do. Email me here and here. Okay, this is my personal email. The reason why you want to use the personal email is it comes to my cell phone. And I consult for a living. I just sort of, you know, teach because I enjoy it. You know, and of course they pay me and I like that too, but I like teaching. But I consult and I'm with customers a lot. So I don't always get this email at Northwestern same day. It's sometimes the next day. Whereas this, I'll get the same day and I'll try to get back to you. This is my home office right here. Call that number first. If I don't answer, try this one. This is my cell phone. I almost always have my cell phone with me. If I don't pick up, it's usually because I'm with customers or doing something and I can't, but leave a message, I'll get back to you. I would prefer that you post questions to the discussion board so other people can see it. But you know what? Sometimes you just need an immediate answer, okay? And here's Matt Marzillo. He is right now he's with Microsoft. And again, here his contact and his email. He has my complete confidence. I've told him this in the past, but I don't know if he remembers it. But if you can't get a hold of me and you say, I need more time, he can give it to you. You know, whatever he says goes. I back him up 1,000%. So if he forgets that, you say, Don said he has your complete confidence. But anyways, so this is us right here. Let's see if there's other stuff going on here.
Don, we do have a question in the
Okay,
chat.
fire at will.
All right, Anna's looking to see if you could touch a little bit more on the weekly discussion board grading, like how you go about that.
Oh, okay. When it comes to the discussion boards, what you really want to do is this. I tend to grade people on the amount of effort that they put into it. So if you just post a couple of sentences or you post a bunch of gibberish, it doesn't go well. I don't really go into, it's going to ask a question. The question is going to be open-ended. If you start going down a path that I wouldn't have gone down, I'm not going to hammer you for it because you interpreted it a different way. If you're putting forth effort into it, it's kind of like the real world. Your boss gives you a job. Sometimes he's going to say, look, I want you to do, talk to me about, segmentation or what customer segmentation. He might have one thing in his mind. You might come up with something totally different. As long as it's something good, the boss might go, wow, I never thought of that. But if you do some, go to Wikipedia, Xerox a couple of pages and hand it to him, you put no effort into that and it's going to make the boss mad. So I go more towards effort than anything else. The other thing you're going to want to do is respond to about 1 or 2 other posts. Put some thought into it. I tend to also like it when people, the more you put into it, sometimes I even give you more than 10 points, okay? But I'm not here to play gotcha. I mean, the discussion boards tend to be a source of burden to the students. Now, the reason why we have it is because it keeps you logging in, and if you don't log in, you're going to do bad in the class. It sort of forces you to log into the shell, okay? I don't want to make this more burdensome than it has to be, so I tend to be flexible in how I interpret the assignment. But basically put some thought into it and respond to 1 or 2 other posts, and you'll do well. You get your 10 points, and if you really wow me, you might get 12. Does that make sense, Anna?
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. Let's see, Q&A for the instructor. Again, this is kind of where I'd like you to post your questions for the class. If you can, again, I understand sometimes you need instantaneous response. Fine. But if it's something easy and you can wait, post it here so other people can benefit. Let's see here. Business statistics with Wiley. This is the link to the class. I mean, if you, the textbook and all that, this is where you can, if you buy the textbook, you can get access to it online, and it has some videos and other things. Now, we're going to continue, and I'm going to show you why you may not necessarily need to buy this, but these are all the links that you need if you decide to buy the textbook, okay? There's a lot of good material there. I'm not saying it's a bad textbook. I'm just saying that the world has changed, and students now have access to other ways of learning. Let's see, video recording. These are sync sessions, data science lectures from Don Wedding. And this is, right here. This is like, for example, I did a lecture for students. In fact, this was one for one of the bonus assignments, okay? I did a lecture for students on how do you use a decision tree in R. Okay, we don't do that in this class, but you're going to use decision trees in classes, in a couple of classes from now. And I'm going to show you, it's the easiest thing in the world is learning how to use a decision tree. And I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to show you how to do it in R, and it's going to be life-changing, okay? So watch this thing, because I'm going to give you a head start. See, this is another thing in this class. I'm going to give you bonus points if you go and you do this assignment and you learn about all, decision trees. You're going to do this. You're going to watch this video. You're going to learn about it. You'll try the assignment. You get some bonus points. And also, you're going to be a couple of quarters ahead of a lot of the students in the other sections. So even though I don't have flexibility on some things, I'm trying to give you some value add. Why take Don Wedding instead of somebody else? Well, I'm trying to give you some of these values here. Same thing here. I've got another lecture on fixing missing values. It's called missing value imputation. So I've got a little talk on that as well. These are things to watch. Don't walk out of this class without, availing yourself of these opportunities. Let's see what other fun stuff. Bingo bonus. There you go. This is the bonus points. Right here, there's a 5-point, just, I basically went out there and I found some website that has, they asked some data scientists, what skills do you have and which ones do you want and blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying, okay, grab one of these things and write a little one-page or, one-page white paper on what is TensorFlow? What is, I don't know, data, heck, I don't know, Hadoop. Find something, do a little one-page paper, start learning the lingo. If you want to be a data scientist, you got to start learning the lingo. So when somebody says TensorFlow, that shouldn't just be like, your eyes shouldn't glaze over. You should at least know what stuff like that is. So I'm trying to give you some thoughts on this. So that's 5 points there. Let's see, let me go back. Whoops. Decision trees, we got a bonus problem for that. That's due February 14th. I mean, you can sit there and you can give your husband or wife a Valentine, or you can make them a decision tree. Which is more romantic? One would suggest maybe a decision tree. That's thinking outside the box. I'm just kidding, folks. Anybody if there's any guys in this audience who are basically saying, oh, I'm going to do a decision tree for my wife or girlfriend, don't do that. It won't go over well. Let's see.
We do have a question in the chat regarding, for the papers, is it double space, 12-point fonts? Are you picky about that?
No, I'm not picky. You're going to learn something about this, as I'm as easy as Sunday morning about stuff like that. I don't play gotcha with people. Content is more important to me than MLA format, because you know what? I'm 55 and I've been in the working world for 30 years, and never once has my boss demanded something in MLA format. So they don't even know what MLA is, or I don't know, APA. I'm not even sure what format we use anymore. If you were writing a technical journal article, yeah, that's important, but not for me. Make it look presentable, like pretend I'm your boss, make it look good, okay? It doesn't have to look MLA, but it should look, if you throw a couple of pictures in there and some colored font, that usually makes a boss real happy. It looks like, you put work into it. Does that make sense? I'm hearing stunned silence. I don't know if I've answered the question or not.
Yes, thank you.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Perfect. So yeah, like I said, I'm, okay, data science skill set white papers. Now, what happens is I give students bonus points from previous quarters. I said, hey, listen, if you wrote a white paper, it'd be kind of cool if you share it with future generations. So these are students who agreed to share their white papers with you. Download these. Some students went out there and they wrote some nice white papers, and you could sit there and go, gosh, I could go and do a lot of research on TensorFlow. Like your boss says, what is TensorFlow? Well, I'm sure there's a couple of papers on this one. You read a quick white paper on it. So this is something to download this and to get some extra knowledge is what I'm thinking. Let's see what else. That's sort of that. Okay, now let's talk about the class itself. I broke it down so that we have week 1, week 2, week 3, etc. And basically every week is self-contained. Click on this thing. This is what we got to do. We have to do, you got a discussion board due on January 17. That's 1 week from today. And so, then you look on week 2, what do we got here? You got your first test and you got your discussion board. Okay, this is, the things you have to do. Plus there's some lectures and some lessons. Now, here's an interesting thing. If you're falling asleep, wake up. I'm going to give you the backstory of this class. This class has had many incarnations, okay? It started off as one type of class, and then a guy named Roy Sanford, who now is retired, took the class and he totally gutted it and made it something new, okay? And he taught the class for a very long time. He retired, and he graciously let us keep a lot of his material. Now, after he retired, a new professor, who's our head instructor for this class, Professor Srinivasan, she took his work and built upon it. So now you're going to see lectures from 2 other instructors not me, but 2 other people, that it's really good stuff. Now, here's what you're going to want to do. This is why you may not need to get the book. Click on week 1 reading and materials. And you're going to scroll down here, and Professor Srinivasan has some PowerPoint lectures, and they have audio recording in it. So you download this, and you know, she'll walk you through the material, and, you know, basically she's taken the textbook and she's diffused it or disseminated it into some PowerPoints, and it has, you know, the PowerPoint has audio in it. Worth looking at. Try looking at a couple of these before you buy the textbook, you know, and then you can decide if that's for you or not. And then she's got some practice problems here. So then we go back, and so that's Professor Srinivasan, but then you come down here and click on calculations with our week 1, and you're going to find something is right here. Roy Sanford walks through the assignment. Now, the assignment's a little bit different now. It's a little different now because R has changed a little bit. So some of this stuff, because he's been gone for like 3 years now, so this stuff might be a little bit dated, but it's still quite useful. It's 95% of it is still relevant. So again, was that Anna who might have been at church when she was when the talks are going on? Is that you, Anna?
No, that's me, Rosa.
Oh, Rosa. I'm sorry, Rosa. Okay, Rosa. Even if you miss Todd's videos, these are still pretty good. Okay. So anyways, you'll get these every week. So these are worth looking at. Okay. So this covers the R, and Dr. Srinivasan is covering the statistics. And hey, I'm here as your lifeline and you know, other kinds of stuff. So that's, you know, so that's sort of the way the class is orchestrated here. Let's see what other stuff. The tests are multiple choice, I think. I should stop. Before I open this up, I should, you know, I don't want to give you the answers. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go over my other PC and take a quick look before I open this up. I don't want to accidentally show you the answers. I'm sure you guys would be upset if I did, right? Let's see. Give me 1 second. And I just don't like clicking on links here that, anyways, so you got these lessons here. Again, Roy Sanford does that, and Dr. Srinivasan will have more videos. I'm going to click on the test link in just a moment. Give me 1 second here, folks. Does anybody have any questions while I'm logging in on this other computer? This dead air time is probably, you know, not fun. Nick, what do you think? Anything on the chat window?
Nothing on the chat window.
Okay, let's see here. Preview, let's see. Okay, there we go. I'll show you. I can hit preview. You might see the questions, but you won't see the answers. How about that? I'm not going to show you all of them, but let's just see. Let's take a quick look here. So test, if I click on this, if I hit preview, the answers won't show up. So you see what I have is it's you know, it's going to give you some data, and it's going to true or false. We've got, you know, basically, you know, a lot of this stuff is, you know, true or false. And you should, if you've been keeping up with the material, it's not, it should be relatively straightforward. Okay. And that's the test. We do have one proctored final at the very, very, very end. I think I opened it up around week 8. I forget when I open it up, but I give you about a week or two to do this. This is the self-proctored final. Okay, and you get instructions on how to do this, okay? So the final exam, you're going to like this in a way because there's no calculations on the final. The final is a lot of stuff that's conceptual knowledge, like, what is missing value imputation, and it'll give you a multiple choice or something. So that's not a question, but it's that kind of question. There's not going to be, no one's going to ask you to calculate anything on the final. So you won't need a calculator. However, I checked the box that says you can use your calculator. It's just, you won't need it. Anyways, so that's kind of the class itself. I mean, you go through, you're going to do the assignments, you're going to hand in the assignments. There's some tests. It's basically very turnkey as you can see, and everything is self-contained. It's very easy to blink your eyes and all of a sudden 2 weeks have gone by and you haven't done anything. This is not the class you want to fall behind in, okay? Keep up with the material and you'll be fine. But you might end up like 3 weeks behind and then it's like drinking out of a fire hose and it's not fun. So I'm going to kind of let you guys go in a minute. And then, by the way, after this, I put a link in the invite for Predict 498. I teach the capstone. That's the last class in this program. I teach that. If anybody wants to get a sneak preview on what this is like, sit in on the introduction of the class. But it's completely optional for you. But I'll stop right here and I'm going to open it up to the board. Does anybody have any questions, comments, thoughts, anything? I'm going to start. Tina, talk to me, Tina. You have a question.
Hi, sorry, my laptop fan is kind of loud and I don't have my headphones on, so apologies about this.
Oh, there's no apologies necessary. I just want to make sure you have a question. If you have a question, I want to make sure it's been answered.
I'm really excited to start this course, and it's really great having all of this background knowledge on how the course is structured, because I was definitely freaking out when I opened the shell.
Do not freak out, okay? First of all, you got me, and I'm about as easy as Sunday morning. Now, incidentally, just because I'm easygoing doesn't mean I'm easy. So, I have high standards on what I want. I want good quality, but I'm not necessarily overly concerned about things like MLA format or this or that. I want more. Think about, when in doubt, think about this class is, if I was in a working environment, if I was in a company, what would the boss want? Would he be more concerned about MLA format, or would he be more concerned about me interpreting the problem myself and going down a certain path to the best of my ability? Again, I'm not here to play gotcha. I want you guys to learn this material. So you don't be afraid of this class. Just dive in and you're going to enjoy it, and push yourself. Try new tools. Even if you don't see it on this class shell, if you can think of something that I didn't, talk to me and I can make it happen. If there's if you happen to have at work a copy of, let's say, Alteryx, and you said, Don, I'd like to try some Alteryx, do it. And, you'll get some bonus points. Push yourself. What do you think about that, Ryan Siegel? Oh, somebody's about to say a question. Who was it? Oh, Zach has his hand up. Zach, talk to me.
Yep, just really quickly, I was very curious to know what's the differences between the data analysis assignments and the R assignments? And can you just give us a brief detail of what each will be?
The data analysis ones you still are using R, but you're trying to use R to solve math problems, whereas the R programming ones are things like, graphs. How do you do a graph? How do you do this? How do you, one is more mechanics of using R you're trying to actually take that data and do stuff that you will probably do a lot in the R programming language. whereas in the analysis, you're going to be actually using R and trying to interpret the results.
Okay.
Does
So
that make sense?
yeah, is the analysis going to be more open-ended then? So you wouldn't expect that my assignment would be the same as, Anna's or someone else in the program?
No, once you start following these R studio shells, it's pretty much everybody's is going to look the same, which makes it real fun to grade for me, because I'm just, I start looking for certain graphs and I'm like, if the graph looks like this, it's right. So
Okay.
yeah, the guy, Roy Sanford, when he put this together, really took it down a very logical path. You just have to see it when you get to it. It's like he'll say, okay, do this, type, you'll have examples, and then he'll say, okay, now, filter out all of the, male people who had a loan, who bought a house or something, so you take the data set and you filter out the females and you got the males. And he goes, now get the left-handed people. Now, how many left-handed people bought a house and how many rented an apartment, so just that kind of just step by step by step. And your stuff will look the same. Now, if you do my bingo bonus stuff, yours will look different from everybody else, because this is very open-ended. But please try these things. I mean, they're relatively straightforward, and everybody says, gosh, am I glad I did this? And you'll be light years ahead of the other sections.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, I'm going to let you guys go because I got to run another class, but I hope I see some of you guys in there.
Will you be recording the capstone class?
Yeah, I'll record it if you want. I'll put it out there, and
Yeah, please. I would like to sit in, but unfortunately I have to be somewhere in about 15 minutes.
that's not a problem.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So any final questions? If not, I'm going to let you guys go. Okay. Then I'm going to ask one more question. Mike Thizimondo. And I'm only saying that because I want to know how to pronounce your name.
Hey, yeah, it's the Siamondo. So you're essentially right there.
Well, there you go. You got a question for me? If not, we're going to go.
I don't, well, actually, I was looking through the course shell, and it looks like the week 1 and week 2 discussions are due on the same day. Is that right?
Yes, because this is a 10-week course. And
That's right.
And so everything, so, I thought about not making you do week 1, but I thought, well, hell, that's 10 free points because you're introducing yourself. So I thought I would let you guys do that.
Fair enough. Just making sure. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, I'd like to stay, but I got to go to the other class. But if you have any questions, please reach out to me and dive into this class and enjoy it. Okay.
Thank you for your time, Professor.
Thank you.
Thank
Tom.
you.
And again,
Thank
you can
you.
call me, you guys can call me Don if you want.
Thanks, Don.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Be good, guys.